I think we good, y'all. I think we good. Yeah, it got me. It got me good. Okay, cool, 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 cool. All right, y'all. Yo, let's get the show started with no further ado. You already know what's good, y'all. What's good, y'all. What's good, y'all. What's great. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild, and I want to thank y'all for tuning in to Sunday night episode. We're on every Wednesday, every Sunday, and again, I appreciate y'all. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 14, so continue to like, subscribe, share, hit the all notification bell. It does help with the growth of the show. Make sure y'all stay engaged. I do drop videos daily, and I've been seeing those engagements. I do jump in the chats, even if I don't agree. If you don't agree with me, but again, keep it respectful and keep it logic. So if you say something that's obviously trolling, then obviously I'm gonna know, and yeah, I'll probably erase it or I just probably won't answer it. But again, I appreciate the love and support each and every episode. This is episode 278, y'all. That's a lot of episodes. So again, we don't grow without y'all. So again, appreciate y'all as always. Make sure y'all take advantage of the memberships. We do have memberships to the podcast. Take advantage of it right now. And we also got merchandise. The links is always in the bio. Take advantage of the links as well. Excuse me. Excuse me. And so, with no further ado, again, let's get the show started. Remember, y'all, do not be an agent of chaos. Do not be a stain. Somebody's a stain when they try to stand out by being negative. Have the ability to stand out by being positive. Lose that Willie Lynch mindset. Lose that it can only be one mindset. The only op we recognize over here is opportunity. We celebrate life culture over here. So again, hate has a location. It's just not here. All right, y'all, with no further ado, let's get the show started, man. You know what I'm saying? It's Sunday night, feeling amazing. And again, I appreciate y'all for tuning and tapping. And shout out to the chat. The chat is in here deep. I'm not going to say every single person in the chat, but shout out to the chat. Shout out to King P, one of our day ones, one of our big badge holders, had this badge for over 2 years. Shout out to Culture in the building. Shout out to Tremont in the building. Shout out to Hazel. Shout out to Ebony. Shout out to y'all in the building, man. Y'all holding it down as always. Big time love, man. Again, make sure y'all stay engaged in the chat. And as always, love, as always, I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snap. So you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. And that's Button Snaps, the word button hyphenated sign and the word snaps.com. All right, y'all, with no further ado, let's get the show started. First segment of the night, popular opinions. Y'all already know these are not my questions. These are the world's questions, so stick to the answers in the questions. This segment is brought to you by OUV Records. Make sure you go to Instagram at OUV Records and stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. The label motto is create, document, and inspire. So make sure y'all go to OUV Records at Instagram right now. All right, y'all. First segment of the night, popular opinions, y'all. Prime Shaquille O'Neal in today's game would average 1, 15 to 20 points per game, 2, 21 to 25 points per game, number 3, 26 to 30 points per game, or 4, 30 plus points per game. Again, let me know what y'all think about this in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about this in the chat. Again, prime Shaquille O'Neal would average how many points in today's NBA? Again, number 1, from 15 to 20 points a game, 21 to 25. Number 3, 26 to 30. Number 4, 30 plus a game. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Shout out to y'all in the chat. Y'all in here deep. Pause. Appreciate y'all as always. They going with 4 in the chat. They saying 30 plus in the chat. They saying 30 plus in the chat. Prime Shaquille O'Neal in today's NBA. Y'all saying he would average 30 plus in the chat. Me personally, I have to agree. If y'all ever seen Shaquille O'Neal, if y'all go back to watch YouTube videos of the full game, I'm not talking about highlights. Watch a full game of prime Shaquille O'Neal in Orlando, especially with the Lakers. Shaq with the Lakers was completely different. So Lakers Shaq, he's getting 30 plus. He's getting 30 plus Easily. Easily. He was doing this when the NBA played with three bigs. Yes, the NBA used to play with three bigs in the lineup. You had your classic 7 foot center. You always had your bruiser type of power forward, which was like 6'8" and taller. Normally, the prototypical power forward back then was about 6'10" and taller. The small, the shorter guys but strong guys was like your Charles Oakleys, your Charles Barkleys. Those guys was like 6'8", 6'6", 6'4". When you think about Larry Johnson, but majority of your prototypical power forwards back then was 6'10". Then, believe it or not, your small forwards was taller. They was anywhere from 6'9" to 7 foot. Kevin Garnett was a three. He was a small forward when he first came into the league. 7'3", 7 foot small forward, and he wasn't the only one. It was prototypical that small forwards was taller than the power forwards. They were just slender guys who could move, and it was just a different NBA. So Shaq was doing that on that in that league. In this league, where you basically play with no bigs, it would look crazy. It would look like JV versus varsity. So me personally, I'm saying that Shaq is definitely averaging 30 plus in today's NBA. Shout out to the chat going in. Shout out to my dog CC Motions in the building. One of our other day ones. Salute Ash. I need your prayers, fam. LeBron, hop through to my team. We're going to have a drama like LA did. I can't do 2 years of the foolishness, gang. Shout out to CC. So he letting people know Philly is his team. And it's about to get crazy because LeBron is on their team. I shout out to Coach. He said, I still can't believe LBJ is with Philly. Keesaw, in today's NBA, a prime Shaq or Shaquille O'Neal would realistically average roughly 34 to 36 points a game, 13 to 14 rebounds, 5 or 6 assists, and 2.5 blocks a game. I would agree, definitely. I would say more, me personally, I know this is, we nitpicking here, but I would say 31 to 34 points a game. I would say anywhere from, because Shaq can get rebounds, but he's not a I'm going to go get rebounds tonight kind of dude. I would say he would average anywhere from 9 to 12 rebounds a game realistically, probably about 4 assists a game. He does pass the ball very well. 4 to 5 is very realistic. And I would say about 1 block a game realistically. Even though he could go out there and block about 3 blocks a game, he's not a defensive hunter. So I don't think he puts that type of effort defensively. So shout out to Keesaw in the building as well. CC Ash, I felt like Will Smith from I Am Legend. I said we got a pack. Hurry, they coming. I can hear this fan base a mile away. Yo, so well so with LeBron in itself, we definitely gonna get into that a little bit later in the show, but just the initial reaction to it, I thought his best bet was either with Philly or Miami. I just thought Miami was the better lifestyle choice, team choice, because that team, if you add LeBron on that team right now, they're going to be a defensive nightmare, and you have that type of leadership. With Philly, they require LeBron to do less for them to win, but with LeBron's presence, his presence and his experience, especially in the Eastern Conference, and you giving him a legit big, I think we're going to see the best version of Joel Embiid physically this year, meaning he's going to be as healthy as we ever going to see him this year. JB, I don't know why Brooklyn Nets, we didn't go harder for Brown, but the owner and Brown had some sort of pass or whatever. But I think Brown is going to be on the tear, and then you got that backcourt is one of the best backcourts in the league, and Tyrese Maxey, VJ Escombe is what, 24, 25? Maxey's probably like 23, 24, and VJ is probably what, like 21? So, man, it's going to get crazy. You're going to see a whole lot of transplant fans with Philly, too. So, I will say that. But back to Shaq, though. Shaq in today's league would definitely average 30 plus, in my opinion. We talking about peak Shaq, 7'1", 7'2", 315-pound could move, could run. And it's no answer in the low post. No answer. No answer. So and then the crazy thing is Wemby is our best defender in today's NBA. And Wemby would have problems with Shaq's size, pause, with his girth, pause again, his ability to move and be wide and strength. You know, and this is the best we have to offer. And Wemby is a top tier defender. So nobody else would be able to do nothing with Shaq in today's NBA. He would easily get 30 plus per game. My bad. I mean, can. No lie, Ash. I can see. I can see. He said, no lie, Ash. I can see Shaq averaging 36. He might get into foul trouble, though. Yeah, I can definitely see him getting into foul trouble, but you get 6 fouls, you know, but it will be no answer for him, especially if he's on a team where he's the guy. If he's the guy, well, he's going to be the guy. Prime Shaq is always going to be the guy. But you get a guy like Shaq in his prime, and you give him like one shooter. Like, can you imagine in today's game, Shaq on a team like the Portland Trailblazers, where they got a whole bunch of guards. You got Demi Avia, I'll probably change his name up, from Washington. Can you imagine him in the post for Portland? That's what I mean by like the team stylistically for Shaq, where you got guards who could keep it spread out, and then you just got all this space in the post. That would be nasty. So, but you know, so again, I said he would average 30 plus. The chat said he would average 30 plus. 45%, mind y'all, over 6,000 people voted on this, y'all. Went with Shaq. Prime Shaq will average 26 to 30 points a game. That's what they went with. I don't agree with the rest of the world. That, to me, this is easy 30 plus. We're not talking about young Shaq. We're talking about, and we're not talking about Miami Shaq, the Phoenix Suns Shaq, Boston Shaq. We're talking about LA Lakers Shaq. He's averaging way more than 26 to 30. This is 30 plus for me easy. 30 plus for me easy. So I don't agree with the rest of the world, but shout out to the chat. The chat agree with me, and I agree with the chat. So, and remember, y'all, hit them likes, hit the 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. All right, y'all, moving on to our next popular opinion. Sometimes I get fluttered, even though I'm looking at it. Moving on to our next popular opinions. Most addictive TV show on this list. Most addictive TV show on this list. Number 1, Maury. Number 2, Law and Order. Number 3, Fatal Attraction. Number 4, Love and Hip Hop. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Most addictive TV show on this list. Again, number 1, Maury. Number 2, Law and Order. Number 3, Fatal Attraction. Number 4, Love and Hip Hop. Again, let me know what y'all think about this in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about this in the chat. Yo, shout out to my dog fam. We got my dog fam in the building, man. Appreciate you for tapping in. He says, salute my brother. Appreciate you for tapping in, one of our day ones, man. Appreciate you as always. Don't forget, y'all, hit them likes, hit the 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. All right, so the question is most addictive TV show on this list. All right, so Maury in itself, all these shows is highly addictive. I'm not going to lie. Maury is the OG addictive TV show because you can sit there and watch 4 different Maurys back to back, all with You Not the Daddy. I could watch that all day because, especially back in the day, that was super duper funny. Law and Order. Law and Order in itself was one of those, especially SVU, the SVU unit. It's something about how they pace the show just makes you want to watch more and more. It's like you going on the ride with them. You trying to solve the crime like each and every episode, every single time. So Law and Order is another addictive show. Fatal Attraction, oh my goodness. And it starts off the same way. It was a whirlwind romance, and she was looking for love, and he was a guy, you know, that was down on his luck, and it always starts the same way. And Love and Hip Hop, I don't even know why Love and Hip Hop is on here. That show is not addictive in my opinion. Maybe it doesn't speak to my age demographic, but Love and Hip Hop to me is not an addictive show. So me personally, out of all the shows, I'm gonna say I'm gonna go Law and Order is the most addictive show on this list. Shout out to y'all in the chat. I'm seeing two. Somebody said Law and Order. I'm seeing three. Fatal Attraction. Shout out to Fam. He said LeBron on go on another team when it gets up. Now that's a fact. That's what LeBron do though. Like to me, LeBron is no longer in the GOAT conversation. You would never seen Jordan do that. People came to Jordan for the sauce. You know what I'm saying? Jordan didn't have to go to another team for the sauce. But you know, today's NBA is kind of exciting, but you know, it's gonna make for great TV ratings. I definitely would say that. Law and Order wins because it's universal. I like that answer. Shots fan, he said Law and Order. It's not even close. So y'all, so everybody up here all fell for the Law and Order for the sauce. Pause. Like that, like the addictive shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care who you are, what race you from, what your background is financially. We've all been caught in a 3-4 episode Law and Order one day, and you enjoyed every moment of that. You know what I'm saying? You got you some snacks, and you just let Benson and Stiller do their thing. You know what I'm saying? So I think regardless on how this answers, everybody done felt for that at some point in time. Me personally. All right, y'all. So again, I'm going with Law and Order. In the chat, it was a mix. I seen Maury, I seen Fatal Attraction, and I definitely seen Law and Order. I definitely didn't see no Love and Hip Hop. I'm going with Law and Order at 41%. Only 41%. 40,000 people voted on this. Went with number 2, Law and Order. Again, not mad at that. Again, I don't care who you are. We've all been caught in a 2, 3, 4 episode back to back to back Law and Order. And it's a show that never gets old. One, they got mad seasons. Law and Order been on TV as long as I can remember. It's been on TV for at least 20-something years. 20-something years. That's a long time. Bro, I can't even imagine being an actor on that show and being employed with this company for that long. Yo, I done bought me my main house already is paid for. I done got me a vacation house somewhere. I done got about like the cars would be galore. You know what I'm saying? And my savings would be through the roof. So I can't imagine when you think of Ice-T, you think of Mariska Hertigo. I know I told her last name up. Even the guy that plays Stiller. Yeah, Stiller. Stabler, I said Stiller. Stabler, he left and came back, but you know they put on for for a long time with Law and Order. Law and Order is a great show. It's a great show. They done had some really dope episodes. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment, our barbershop talk. So our barbershop talk for this episode is there is online personality Mandy B. She says that marriage is for broke women and women wanting to lean into the patriarchy. Excuse me, Why when I get on live, some of my words when I say too fast, it just come out wrong, right? But she's saying that again that marriage is for broke women and women wanting to lean into like the patriarchic, that's not the word. I can't get the word out. Like the patriarchic leadership of the household, meaning that men lead the household. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, when I heard her speak based on this, there was something to what she was saying. I don't think she was speaking to every single woman that wants to get married. But there is a sense that women that understand life, they understand they need a partner. Guess what? Men, us as men, The reason why we're so vocal on what women do is because we need a partner. None of us was meant here to be alone. But men, as men, I have to be honest, in today's society, you have to modify how you look for a partner and what their usage rate, like how the NBA, some of y'all love the NBA and the NFL, and we have to modify the usage rate of our partner. We're no longer in a society, whereas for the most part, where men find somebody, build with somebody, and there'll be something to gain at the end of that rainbow. And what do that mean? As men, when we marry somebody, we need someone that we can lean on for our emotional state of mind, our children's state of mind, just having a real foundation with one person. Even if we have other situations outside of the household, this person right here is somebody that I love and that I'm loyal to, and they must be taken care of because they are the foundation. Now, we no longer live in that type of situation or type of society because we see by and large that women don't value men in a certain way, where if a man marries you, take care of you, what do he get out of it? We're supposed to get companionship and understanding and that foundation, right? But we see all the time that the easiest transference of wealth is through marriage. And when somebody gets married, they could get divorced and they could take half the stuff, get the kids, and hey, I don't got to deal with you anymore. So with that being a placeholder in most men's mind, now men, as men, we have to modify your usage rate. We could do a situationship, or we could move accordingly just as long as we don't get married. Your usage rate, because now when we're finished with you, because you're finished with us as well, we'll move on to someone else. And we know there's going to be someone else because there's more women than men. And let's be honest here, the older we get as human beings, especially for us as men, we are more sought after than the older women. That's why you hear older women complain about men going after younger women, because they feel like the younger women is taking their slot. So nobody wants to die alone, correct? So with women, younger men is not looking at older women like, yeah, I need to marry her. No, you get smashed like anybody else. That's not the same as being taken seriously. And I don't know no woman that just wants to get pounded on and not be taken serious. Let's be honest. So when she says this, Mandy B, when she said marriage is for broke women, and they leaning on a patriotic type of foundation where men lead the household, that's how it go anyway. That is the traditional realm of how we move, especially when you believe in God. When somebody say, I believe in God and I believe in the Bible, and if you do that, it's God, man, then woman. That's just how it go, period. Now, would it be a benefit that our culture had a shift in mindset where we build together as family as intended? Yes. Yes, but we don't live in the space where that is not only celebrated, but curated and cultivated. So as men, we have to be aware of our situation, because no man wants to be in a situation whereas he marries a woman, he validates her, he builds a life with her, and then one day she wakes up and say, after 15 years, yeah, I want to do something different. No man wants to deal with that. Now he got to divide his assets, you get the children, and now he basically has to start a whole new life where he has to find people that care about him. Because the kids have their own life, and if the mother don't care about the husband, then they not going to care. Because that's how kids learn how to care about their daddy, is through the mother. Simple and plain. Can't make this up. So the natural foundation of that mindset is husband, wife, children, but God at the helm. So for her to say that marriage is designed for broke women, no, no. A marriage is individual based. Back in the day, in your 50s, 60s, and 70s, marriage was designed for broke people, for sure, because now you're combining resources, regardless of our education level, we're combining resources that we know we wouldn't have had. So back then, the man worked and the woman did everything at home. She made sure the kids was good and the house was good. Make sure when he came home that, he got a hot meal. He'd been out working all day. He needed to come home to some peace. So there was a balance in that. And now when the wife started working a little bit, now you're combining the resources and now you're getting more done. Now he could work a little less. Y'all could go on more vacations. The kids could do something with college, right? Because it's about the growth of husband and wife. So that was a mentality. But now we're in 2026. Now we're in 2026. So when you look at it, is it still for broke women? No. Marriage is for people that understand that marriage is also a business. It's not just between man, woman, and God. It's business first. And if you understand that and have an objective when you get married, then you could benefit from it. So I get the point she was trying to make. Her point in itself, I don't agree with, because the point she was saying is in the natural order of things. The man is the leader of the household, regardless on what the woman brings to the table. Whether that's a bigger paycheck, whether it's things around the house, it does not matter, because these bills are going to get taken care of regardless. And if it takes for a non-traditional partnership or a non-traditional relationship where I stay home because I'm better with the kids and I better understand what the household need, and for you to go to work, guess what? I'm still the leader. I'm still the quarterback of this household. But we work together. I'm the head, you're the neck. We need each other for this thing to turn. So I get what she was trying to say, but I don't agree all the way. That mindset is more so for 50s, 60s, 70s, and the 80s. So that was the barbershop talk for today's episode. Shout out to y'all in the chat. Y'all going in the chat, man. I appreciate y'all. The older we get, the wiser we get. That's a fact. That's a fact. And again, men, we have to modify how we move because of women. That's just how it goes. Ladies, I tell y'all this. Y'all dictate how men move in the dating space. Even though we dictate marriage. Did y'all know that? Y'all dictate how men move in the dating space. But we dictate marriage. And the superpower that y'all do have is that y'all have the ability to recreate yourself to every man that you like. So what that means is, if you got a shaky background in South Carolina somewhere, you could move to New York City and present a different persona. And based on your persona, men will treat you as you present. So if you got skeletons in your closet back in South Carolina, that doesn't matter anymore. You're presenting this in New York City, so you get treated as such. And because you get treated as such, a man will dictate how he's going to classify you. Whether you're going to be a situationship, whether you're going to be a relationship, or whether it's going to be a good time and goodbye, or that's the homie. It's very simple and very easy. Every man know what I'm talking about. Within the first 25 minutes, we already know where we're going to be at. This could be a possibility of something right here. This is just going to be a good time right here. Yeah, we might go on a date and I'll be that, or that's just going to be the homie. So y'all dictate where the dating scene is at. So if there's an abundance of women out there that value marriage and value men, and the men that they want They do those things because they value marriage and they value men. Then men in ourself, we will say, okay, I need to get me a wife. I need to get me one because, yo, you value me. You value the household. That's how that works. And I've said that in past episodes, but man, it don't get no truer than that. So shout out to y'all in the chat. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. You could get a prenuptial agreement. You don't even need a prenup in today's society. If you're with somebody, you don't even need marriage. All you need is policies. Get you a couple policies. God forbid something was to happen to me, you're taken care of. You don't need marriage. I remember one of my aunts came up to me. She was like, yo, when you gonna settle down? You been with her for, I'm like, yo, chill, man, chill. She was like, nah, but you been with her for some time now. When you gonna, tie that knot? Yeah, never. Why not? She a good girl. She a good, clean girl. Yeah, she is, ain't she? Yeah. If she stick around a little longer, I might get a policy. You know what I mean? God forbid something to happen to me. Children taken care of, girl taken care of. You don't need to tie the knot and then the prenup and all that. I don't even need to do all that, B. Nah, get a policy if somebody's that important to you in today's way of dating. So, ladies, if y'all listen to me, I'm telling you, y'all will get a whole lot further in life. I'm telling you, in the dating space. I say this all the time. Women that want something for their children, they work with men. Women that want something for themselves, they take from men. It's just that simple. Just that simple. Let me say that again for some of the people in the back. Women that want something for their children, they work with men. And women that want something for themselves, they take from men. But when you take from a man, it's to your disadvantage because all you're doing is taking one time. Shout out to the chat. Y'all going in the chat. Ashley, is you going to jump the broom next year or I'm going to be your best man? Yeah, you don't got to worry about that, bro. I'm not jumping no type of broom. It's not happening because I understand the game. I understand the game. Now, if I love a woman like that, which I've had in my past, I'll get a policy. Like I did in my past. Get a policy. And then if things don't work out, then you get rid of the policies. Ain't that simple? If you with somebody, y'all rock out like that, you get a policy, God forbid something was to happen to you. In the event, God forbid, that person is good, your children is good. But if y'all not together no more, hey man, it is what it is. Run that policy back, cuz. So, hey man. All right, y'all, move it. They laughing at me in the chat, LOL. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Where we at right now? Oh, okay. All right, moving on to our next segment, our Eddie Murphy Awards. I'm going to give y'all 3 fire movies to either go see or that's coming out. So basically, movies to go see. One movie came out, the other 2 didn't come out yet, so make sure y'all tap into these movies. So my first Eddie Murphy Award goes to a movie that's coming out this week. The trailer has dropped. The trailer look amazing. I can't wait to see it. Stars Tom Holland and Zendaya. Spider-Man Brand New Day. Looking forward to seeing this movie. The last Spider-Man was pretty good. Pretty good. The ending was epic. Whereas, he get to save the world, but his friends, his most closest people, his girl, don't remember him. So I can't wait to see the journey regarding that. Can you imagine? I can't even picture a place where it's like alternate worlds and your best friend in the world is talking to you like, yo, who the hell is this stranger? Like, get out of my face, bro. And he's trying to have a conversation with you, and you just ignorant, like, who's son? But in a whole nother world, that was your ace. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to seeing this movie. So make sure y'all tap into Spider-Man: A Brand New Day. It comes out, I believe, on the 31st. So I believe that's Thursday. So that looks absolutely epic and fire. Second Eddie Murphy Award movie is a movie that I actually seen, came out about a couple weeks back, directed by Steven Spielberg. This movie stars Emily Blunt and Josh O'Connor. This movie is called Disclosure. A very interesting movie. When I seen the preview, I was like, I'm seeing that the first day it comes out. Very interesting movie. You know how Steven Spielberg do. He gonna take you on a journey. I think I have to watch it a second time to get a full, just a better understanding. That the movie is kind of long, but it was entertaining. But I felt myself too many times like, what am I watching? Like what is the purpose of the movie? But it's still a must see. So make sure y'all tap into the movie Disclosure. Third and final Eddie Murphy Award is movie. The preview has dropped and it looks absolutely amazing. This movie stars Anna Hathaway, P.J. Brian, Ewan McGregor. This movie comes out August 14th and is directed by David Robert Mitchell. This movie is called The End of Oak Street. This looks absolutely fire, about a family in suburbia, and somehow, some way, their block end up on a whole nother block, and just things is happening all over the place. So it looks absolutely epic. So I can't wait to see that one as well. So make sure y'all tap into those three movies: Spider-Man: A Brand New Day, Disclosure, and The End of Oak Street. Looks absolute fire. Shout out to Fam. He says sometimes the trailer is the movie. That is true though. I will say that sometimes the trailer is the movie, but you gotta walk on faith, bro. Like, we gotta walk on faith sometime when it comes to the movies, bro. We got to. But it's absolutely true. Sometimes the trailer be like, yo, I can't wait to go see that, and it'd be absolute dog shit. Absolute dog shit. Some of the movies I've seen recently, they was alright, but some was like, I'm cool. Like me personally, I can't wait to see Doomsday. I don't believe Doomsday is one of those. The preview is the movie. I think Doomsday is probably going to be up there with like Infinity Wars. I think it's going to be better than Endgame. I think it's going to be like Infinity Wars and what's the other one that I really like? Damn. And Civil War. I think it's going to be Infinity Wars and Civil War as far as Doomsday. So, and then the actual, what's the other one that came out? The Fantastic Four movie. The Fantastic Four movie was fire. That was a fire movie. Like, so I can't wait to see Doomsday, but I think, in my opinion, Spider-Man is going to be fire and The End of Oak Street is going to be fire. So, we're going to see, y'all. Shout out to my dog, Rowan, Jack in the building, Cole Wrath, Warren. Appreciate you for tapping in, man. Have his membership for over 2 years, one of our day ones of the pod. This is our 278th episode. Cole Wrath, Warren, been here from the very beginning, man. We appreciate you as always, man. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Y'all know I'm going to give y'all must-hear artists, a dope fire artist, whether it's hip-hop, R&B, whether it's new, whether it's old, whether it's R&B, hip-hop, gospel, reggae, no matter the genre, it's going to be a fire artist. So my profile artist for tonight is R&B legend, Genuine. Make sure y'all put these 3 songs on y'all playlist. So my first Michael Jackson award goes to Genuine song, Stingy. Fire song. If y'all don't know about Stingy, put that on your playlist. Fellas, thank me later. Michael Jackson award number 2 goes to his song, None of Your Friends' Business. You know what I'm saying? The song is in the title. Ain't none of your friends' business. Fire song. And third must-have song on this playlist is Those Jeans. So make sure y'all put those 3 songs on your playlist by Genuine. Again, the songs are Stingy, None of Your Friends' Business, and In Those Jeans. So make sure y'all tap into Genuine. Fire, must have music. Genuine's a whole legend out here. I see people cracking on Genuine because he's still dancing at the shows. What he's supposed to do? That's what he do. He dance. When he was young and popping, and he's a legend, so I don't want to say young and popping, but when he was younger, people look forward to the Genuine videos for him to bust his two-step. He used to have a whole segment in the video where he would just get it, just straight freestyle solos, and people was looking forward to that. So when people try to diss him now, it's kind of whack. But, you know, Genuine's a whole legend, man. Shout out to Cole Wrath Ronan. He said, had to change the card experience. Why did LeBron go to the 76ers? None of your friends' business. Yo, shout out to Cole Wrath Ronan. Oh, man, that's funny. Shout out to Keyshaw. Genuine wasn't just making songs. He was creating core memories. The intro to So Anxious still give me chills over 20 years later. Yeah, yo, Genuine was a legit dancer. Like he was a dancing R&B singer, legit. And girls used to fall over Genuine. For a fact, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, Genuine was one of the R&B dudes out here that was killing the game, for sure. For sure. Shout out to y'all in the chat. Y'all don't forget to hit them likes, hit them 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Hey, man, y'all already know we're about to get on that flight and send them to Turkey or no, send them to Turkey or no. Y'all know the rules of the game. We type in T to send it to Turkey, or we type in N not to send it to Turkey. When people say and do crazy things, we send it to Turkey. That's just how it go. First one of the night. Woman claims that boxer Adrian Broner essayed her 3 times. A video has resurfaced of clips in the treatment of the woman that is supposedly saying that he essayed her. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are y'all sending him to Turkey or not? Are y'all sending him to Turkey or not? Me personally, I'm sending this man to Turkey. I'm sending him to Turkey. There's too many clips of Adrian Broner, and with the women around, it just looks cringy. It looks cringy. Like, when are we going to be accountable for our own actions by keeping certain people around us? When we keep certain people around us and we don't know their intentions, these type of things could happen, whether man or female, right? With men, you don't know if dudes are jealous and looking to line you up, looking to put a woman on you just to catch a case and run the play through the woman. That's called a honey trap. You don't know if that's happening. You don't know if a woman's going to run her own honey trap and be like, yeah, we're going to do this, and she'll volunteer on whatever y'all got going on, and then come back and say, yeah, he did this, and he did that to me. And the reason why the treatment matters is because he has too many clips and videos with the women around him, how their interactions. It's a bit cringy. It doesn't come off player. It doesn't come off smooth. It comes off cringy. So at the end of the day, am I surprised at this particular allegation? No. Now, is it true or not? We don't know. We don't know. I'm gonna give Adrian Broner I can't think of the word right now. Y'all know I forget words when I'm on live, but I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt and say that he didn't do it because I don't know him to have a history of this. But since he's been on live, since he's been on, a streamer, his interaction with women have been super cringy. And I'm not talking about the age and nothing like that, because I don't care nothing about age if you're an adult. Once you're an adult and you're a woman and man, you're an adult, period. So it's not like we're seeing kids on his stream. We're talking about adult women. Even the interaction with adult women is super duper cringy. Again, it doesn't come off smooth. It doesn't come off player-like. It comes off cringy. It comes off, I'm here because I'm famous. And if I wasn't famous, I wouldn't be able to talk to this woman and move in this type of realm like this. So at the end of the day, am I surprised? No. Is it true or not? I don't think it's true, because we didn't hear about things like this when he was super duper popping as a boxer. I would say super duper successful as a boxer. Now he's being successful as a streamer, but streaming is different from boxing. So we didn't hear this in the realm of boxing. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. But these clips don't help. It doesn't help, and I'm pretty sure whoever is in his team that actually cares for him is being honest with him. That's one of the things that kill me about the so-called celebrity. When you look at their circle, their circle is always the bigger problem than them, because their circle allowed them to get away with things. If you really cared about somebody, like, yo, bro, you got to be accountable for this. You got to change this. You got to change the surroundings around here. You set the temperature around here. You the champ. You the one that can hold belt to ass to how your whole surroundings go. Whether it's going to be a serious surroundings, whether it's going to be a jokey surroundings, you set the template for it. That's why it's always going to be on Adrian Broner's shoulders. He was a champion at one point. So what do that mean, Ash? That means that anything that's in Adrian Broner's camp, they're going to say somebody from Adrian Broner's camp. It's always going to be associated to Adrian Broner, because he's the draw. So when you're the draw, you have to control the temperature in the room. Keep a nice, safe place for everybody, so that way it doesn't mess up the brand. Because the brand is the money. You don't want to be one of those guys that has to eat a bowl of shit to make $1 million. I say it all the time. There's a difference between being great and being famous. If you want to be famous, it's very easy to do. Take a hot bowl of shit and scoop that shit and eat that shit. And also, a hot bowl of shit is also symbolic. We see it all the time on social media. It's just what type of hot bowl of shit you're willing to eat. And we see it all the time. It's desperation out here. People are doing whatever it takes to get views. He sets the temperature for his surroundings. So this moving forward, it's going to matter who you have around you. Because now who you have around you, you already set the template of what's going to happen around you. And when you got people that really care, they're going to make sure they police that shit. So we don't have nothing, no foolishness that's going to mess up this money. We about the money. We about the brand. And if the brand is clean, your name is clean. And if your name is clean, no matter where you are in life, whether you're up or whether you're down, especially when you're down, you're able to get a deal and come back up. That's the beauty about being the champ. The one thing about being a champ in boxing is always marketable. No matter if you're heavy, whether you're overweight, whether you're skinny, it doesn't matter. Being the champ is always marketable. All you got to do is keep your name clean. Look at the history. So I got to send him to Turkey right now, just because you in the situation that you're in. You control the template or the temperature in your circle. Simple and plain. Shout out to the chat. Y'all going in the chat. Hold on. I missed a few of them. So shout out to y'all in the chat. Timberland and Genuine was an undefeated duo. Going back to the last segment, AB has zero awareness on how serious this actually is. This isn't just about what happened behind closed door anymore. I need to wait and see. I need to do my research before I can give my opinion on this AB situation. Me Too is dead due process for the win. And I respect that. I respect some of y'all saying y'all gonna wait to see, what happens moving forward. But my thing is that he shouldn't have been in this situation regardless. How many other top tier artists or top tier athletes or top tier celebrities and people that you don't even hear allegations from? You don't even hear it because they make sure that their surroundings is policed properly. That's all I'm saying. And to much is given, much is required. He was the champ at one point in time. That's always marketable. But your surroundings gotta fuck with you to tell you the truth. If your surroundings tell you what you want to hear, opposed to what you need to hear, yo, they don't fuck with you. They don't fuck with you. I just gotta be honest. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next. Send them to Turkey or no. Send them to Turkey or no. Remember the rules of the game. You type in T to send it to Turkey, or you type it in not to send it to Turkey when people say and do crazy things. So again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Second one of the night. Diddy was involved in a fight at Fort Diggs prison. He's currently serving a 50-month sentence. A source familiar with the incident told ABC News he's also in solitary confinement as of right now because of said incident. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are we sending Diddy to Turkey or no? Because he in there getting his scrappy do. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, I'm going to send Diddy to Turkey. I'm going to send him to Turkey. You got 50 months in jail, right? That's not a short stay, but that's not the rest of your life, bro. With good behavior, you could be home even faster. And based on his court, the things that he was found guilty for, based on public opinion, and based on things that happened in the past that, the statute of limitations has worn itself out, 50 months in jail is kind of like he kind of lucked up. Kind of lucked up. And the fact that he's about to come home not too much further from now, if they don't penalize him for not, for this fight, why mess that up? Why mess that up? I understand he's a public figure. He's Diddy. Diddy is probably one of the most famous people in the world. But why put yourself in that type of situation? I don't care what it was about. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There's bigger fish to fry. And I don't get when people are not situationally aware. Unless somebody attacked you, of course, then that's different. But if this started off as, or started out as something that was a back and forth, that's completely avoidable. You're Diddy in a sense of understanding what's important, family, finances, and your well-being. Why get into it with anybody in jail? It's not like people hearing about him getting into a fight in jail and then when he gets out, he comes home with street credibility. No, it's Diddy. He passed street credibility. And what do that mean? Meaning that people are not going to be impressed that he knows how to handle himself. People are not impressed with that. Like how I just spoke about Adrian Bronner. It's about the brand. Somebody like Diddy has benefited on his brand being marketable. Whether it's cool, whether, it has finances attached to it. But it's a brand being promoted by Diddy. It's a brand being attached by Diddy. And it makes the brand even more money because Diddy's going to promote the hell out of it. So why not protect it? Why not protect it? Your name is always and will be your name. And if you live long enough, you're going to fuck up. You're going to fuck up. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Now you're already in a situation where you fucked up. Are you going to continue along this path and make your name and your brand even worse? Or are you going to calm out by doing the things that's going to take to getting back to being successful? So I got to send him to Turkey. He's Diddy. He's Diddy. And I never understood that until I got older. My parents used to get on me about things like that. Yo, why are you fighting somebody? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Yo, because he said this and I had to let him know you won't play with me. It wasn't jacking under that. That wasn't good enough. My mom or my dad was not feeling that. Yo, you have the power to say and do and people to respect and reciprocate the energy. So why put yourself in a situation, even though you made your point to just show up, show out, now what? Now what? You done messed up your name. Now your name is enthralled in garbage, with garbage behavior. You didn't get to no bag. And I never used to think about it. I'm like, yo, but like you're always the adult in the room is the point that they was trying to make. But I'm the younger person in the, it doesn't matter. You're always the adult in the room. So when I think about Diddy and all the things that he accomplished in the business space, you get into a fight in jail and you got a 50-month, sentence, and he already he mind you, he also getting time served, so that sentence is even less. And he could be home with some sort of good behavior, and you jeopardize that for whatever reason. Like, yeah, I'm sending him to Turkey regarding that. Shout out to the chat. The chat is sending him to Turkey as well. I'm seeing T in the chat. I'm seeing N in the chat. He was fighting for his life not to get. I'm not gonna finish that. I'm not gonna finish that, Ronan. I'm not gonna finish that. Oh, watch out for the. I'm not gonna finish that. I'm not gonna finish that. Keesaw, from hosting the biggest billionaire parties in the world to catching a disciplinary charge for fighting is low security in a low security prison. Life comes at you incredibly fast. He was trying to fight someone because he was trying to get someone. I'm not gonna finish that, fam. I'm not gonna finish that. Y'all see, I gotta proofread y'all while I'm reading the joint live. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna finish them. I'm not gonna finish some of these statements. Cause first of all, y'all trying to get me to laugh. You know what I'm saying? And y'all achieving that. But I'm like, yo, y'all are funny. Shout out to the chat, man. Shout out to the chat. Again, shout out to my dog Ronan. Shout out to King P. Shout out to Keesaw. Shout out to fam. Yo, y'all are cracking me up in the chat, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Holding it down. Shout out to Culture, too. Shout out to Culture Talk in the building, too, man. Remember, y'all hit them likes, hit the 100s. It does help with the growth of the show, man. Appreciate y'all, as always, for tapping in. This is episode 278, which is a lot of damn episodes. We're going to be doing something special. I don't speak about it enough. We're going to be doing something special for the 300th episode. That's going to be monumental. And yeah, we're going to do some giveaways. But I'm thinking about doing it at a different location. And even though I love my location, I love what I do it at. But, just for the 300, more like a celebration. So that's going to be super duper dope, man. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know what time it is. Looking at that watch, it's time to wrap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps, where you get to find us some movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. First hot topic of the night. Graphic testimony continue on day 4 in preliminary hearing for singer David as the judge weighs whether there's enough evidence for him to stand trial in the unaliving of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, some of these details that are super duper graphic is just, again, I go back to the same thought process. It's like, damn, where was her parents? She's 14 years old. When kids become old enough where the law see it as they can do this and there's nothing you can do, right? So meaning, when a kid turns 18, at that age, by law, they're old enough to do whatever that they want to do. And as a parent, you can't do nothing about it. They could go out, they could hang out till 3 a.m. There's no law that an 18-year-old kid can't hang out till 3 a.m, 4 a.m, whatever the case may be. But at 14 years old, and mind you, she ran away from home at 12. I just refuse to believe that a 12-year-old could run away from my home and I'm just cool with it. And that's going to be the new normal. I know where she's at and I'm cool with it. And where she's at, she's not with grandma. She's not with grandpa. She's not with an auntie. She's not with a older sibling that's an adult. No, she's with some strange man that's an adult, and I'm cool with that. He's not a sibling. He's just a random guy and happened to be an artist. Okay, great. But he's still a random guy. It's just hard for me to believe as a parent that I will allow a 12-year-old to run away from my home. Somebody that came from my balls. No, 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 no. Even if I have to go over there and drag her little ass home, she coming home. Now, when you turn 18 and you continue to feel some sort of disdain or whatever the case may be, hey, I tried. I did the best that I could do. There's no book to parenting. Parenting, you can only do the best that you can do and hope that your kids understand the things that you're doing for them is in their best interest always. Even if they don't understand or even if they don't agree right then and there. If they're not supposed to, their frontal lobe hasn't been developed yet. They supposed to come back at 24, 25 and be like, damn, dad, damn, ma, now I get it, right? But 12 years old, she was able to run away. And in the graphic details, they said her body was basically cut up with some sort of electric type of saw where it cut through her body where she was dismembered. As a parent, that would be extremely hard for me to hear. As somebody that could have changed the events of my child in that moment, that would be extremely hard for me to hear. So my first question is like, damn, where was her parents? And why was a 12, 13-year-old girl was allowed to run away from home and stay away from home? Because when she passed away, or when she was unalive, I should say, she was 14. So that means she's been with this man for some time. And it's been a relationship. And then now text messages has been released. Basically saying that she was going to reveal to the rest of the world that they have had a relationship, that she's only 14 years old and he's a grown-ass man. And this is not going to be a good look because at that time he was still building his fan base. Honestly, I still don't know. I don't know his music like that. I would have never known who he was until this case, came about. So at the end of the day, this is extremely terrible. I think there's more than enough evidence, me personally, that the judge can say, yeah, this guy can stand trial. This is about standing trial. There's more than enough evidence where they can stand trial. The girl was found in his car, even though the car was supposedly abandoned. Like, how do you abandon a Tesla? Right? Abandoning his Tesla, his girl, and they established the relationships based on text messages between her, based on pictures between her and her friends, and based on lifestyle. And then you have her body. So what are the chances that somebody you're dating ends up unalive in something that they don't have access to? She's 14 years old. So the point I'm making, at 14 years old, what type of access she has to his Tesla, where she ends up unalive inside of his Tesla? To me, I think this is open and shut, in my opinion. And like I said from day one, since we've heard of this case, since we heard of this kid, because for a long time, they didn't even want to implicate him. Remember, supposedly he was on tour when they found her body, and and they was very careful not to implicate him. And then when you see a music video, he did a music video that it feels like it was like a biopic of what happened to this young girl. Could a girl look like her in the video? And just some of the events that happened, and now that we're hearing the details, it felt a lot like he's basically telling what happened through the music. And you know how some people like to play with the truth in the music, but there's more than enough for them to go to trial. There's more than enough for him to stand trial. And I hope that he gets found guilty, and I hope that he has to do life. I'm not a big fan of the death penalty, me personally, because in my opinion, this is my opinion only, the death penalty, in my opinion, it really gets people off the hook because they don't have to live through the punishment, right? I bodied somebody, now y'all body me. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. I don't have to live with the shame. I don't have to live with the punishment. When somebody has to do life in jail, to me, that's punishment in itself. And you put me to work, yo, you want a chain gang. You're going to be turning big rocks into little rocks. He do that for the next 50 years, that's punishment in itself. Now, that's not the same as unaliving somebody, but he also has to deal with that shame. He has to deal with that punishment. He has to live with rats and I mean, I tell you, prison got some of the biggest rats you ever seen in your life, and it's the funkiest place you ever been in your life too. So the combination of those things, I think that should be his punishment if he's found guilty, and I hope that he is. I have to be honest. Or is somebody trying to set him up? Do I believe somebody? Do you believe? Is that a question, or are you saying that? Do you believe somebody's trying to? I don't believe somebody's trying to set him up. I don't believe that, because again, the music video that he dropped, it felt like it was a detailed model of what ended up happening to her. And then we hear about the text messages where she's like, yo, I'm going to tell everybody that we've been together. I'm going to tell everybody I was pregnant. I'm going to tell everybody this. So when she ends up unalive, he's trying to protect that. Because one, you don't want to be looked at as a pedophile. Two, and you don't get over something like that. Once a guy is known as a pedo, you don't get over something like that, bro. Like that's on you. That's on you. And then now you're trying to accomplish something with your music on top of that. So that's messing up the money. Yeah, I think he had enough motive to do what ended up happening to her. I honestly believe that. I honestly believe that. Shout out to Ronan. I'm a fan of crucifixion. I mean, hey, everybody has their own opinion regarding life and death penalty. Me personally, I just believe that, hey, yo, punishment. Live with the shame. That's a part of punishment. So that's just me personally. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Producer Dallas Austin. Let me re-say that. Producer Dallas Austin, the truth on why he feels R&B and rap music has died in Atlanta. He's saying that all the music sound the same. He said we could easily pick out anywhere from 6 to 8 artists right now, and the music will sound the same, cadence will sound the same, beats sound the same. So he's saying that rap and R&B basically has died in Atlanta. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Do y'all agree with him? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, I agree with him. And it's not just in Atlanta. I think it's also in some other places. But I remember one point in time, Atlanta was pumping out a new artist every 6 months. And the biggest reason why they was doing it, it wasn't just because of the music. The music has always been good coming out of Atlanta. Some of the music has been great. Some of the other music has been exceptional. Some of the music has been timeless. But regardless on where the music level was at, it was always the support. It was always the support. Atlanta or Georgia artists supported each other, regardless on who was coming out in 6 months, whether somebody had the same sound or a different sound. It did not matter. Support was always there. And what does support look like? I'm going to say, yo, y'all like my music? Cool. But yo, be on the lookout for such and such. He coming out. And guess what? I'm going to support him. I'm going to go show up to his music video. When people ask about this artist, I'm going to speak about them positively. It's not going to be in a competitive type of thing. It's going to be in a celebratory type of thing. So that support of each other in Atlanta was always the win for several years. Atlanta went on a run for real for several years. It was that support, supporting each other. Whether somebody had a big name or not, they had the talent. So you had other artists who were big name guys and be like, yo, you got talent, bro. Yo, I'm gonna do your remix. I'm gonna just jump on this record just to solidify you, bro. I don't even want nothing for it, bro. Like, to be honest, I don't need no bread from it. I'm just gonna solidify you because if you popping, I stay popping, and that makes me money, and it's gonna make you money too. And that's always been like the cheat code for Atlanta, because that's a beautiful formula that always worked. If I'm important and then I make you important, then we're always going to be important. It doesn't have to be that competitive. So the fact that he's saying that, I agree. But I don't think it's just Atlanta. Atlanta also has become international radio, where they have Atlanta radio, but then there's also a segment in Atlanta where they play everybody else. And there's nothing wrong with that. But as long as you champion the local artists more than the international space. So, same thing with New York. New York lost its way because of program directing for the last 30 years. For sure. New York has not sounded like New York on the radio in 30 years. For sure. I would say 20 years. I'll give it 20 years. I'll say 20 years. Because in the 2000s, we had the Jay-Z's, we had Nas, DMX, Prodigy, Mobb Deep. Like, we've had several artists that was from New York, and New York radio was playing them, right? I can't say Wu-Tang, because Wu-Tang basically, like, due to the politics, certain radio stations just stopped playing Wu-Tang, like, which is crazy. But all in all, New York radio sound like New York radio back in that early 2000s. You had 50 Cent in G Unit. You had Dipset, Cameron, and the crew. So in the last 20 years, New York radio haven't sound like New York radio, and it's not because we haven't gave great music as New York artists. Program directors turned it into international radio. We still have a New York sound, but y'all like the drill sound. So you have some program directors that will play some of the drill, but more and regularly, it was international radio. So anytime a local area goes for the international format instead of the local format, it's going to lose its way. So the fact that Dallas Austin says that, hey, R&B and hip hop is dying in Atlanta, or has died because everybody sounds the same, I could tend to agree with that. But again, I don't think it's just Atlanta. I think is several different areas and locations that, and the music is there. It's not the lack of music, it's the lack of program directors understanding the culture of the local area, because most of the program directors are not even from the area. You have a program director in New York that's from Kentucky. You have a program director in California that's from St. Louis. People don't understand the local community and what it takes to make sure that sound is curated, which is most important. So I don't disagree with him at all regarding the sound of hip hop and R&B in certain spaces like Atlanta. It's pretty much dead. But I refuse to believe that it's completely dead, because we still have great music out here. You just got to play it. Period. It's great music out here. Gotta play it. Like, ever since the Knicks won the championship, you've heard more New York artists continue to make New York-based music. The New York-based music has always been there. But are y'all gonna play it? And now they starting to play it again. So it is what it is, man. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Keesaw. Keesaw. When Dallas Austin speaks, people need to pull up pull out their notebook and take notes. This is a man who crafted the sound for TLC, Boys to Men, and Monica. If he says the soul and the uniqueness are gone from R&B, it's a fact. Yeah, I mean, by and large, shout out to Ron Jack. He said dry well. Shout out to Fam. I miss Fam comment too. Yes, in Atlanta, a lot of them sound the same. You can't tell who is who. That's a fact. I remember. I'm not gonna lie to you. I remember when Designer first came out. I thought he was Future, and then it was like, yo, this dude, he's not. That's not Future. I was like, who is that? It was like, oh, it's some dude from Brooklyn. We don't rap like that. That's what he talking about. He's like, yo, he rap like that. Then I know somebody that actually knew or knows Designer because I'm from Brooklyn and Brooklyn is big but small. Pause. And he's like, no, he's from Brooklyn. And I was like, okay, whatever. Well, yeah, get his money, But I don't think that's gonna last because he doesn't sound like where he's from. It just sounds like he's just going for the most popular sound and he just gonna run with it. So I mean, again, music in itself, you have to look for it. There's fire music out there, but you have to support independent artists. That's where you find the fire music. If you're waiting on I don't want to say particular names, but if you're waiting on certain individuals to give you a great album, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I listen to a very popular artist without saying their name because I don't want to sound like I'm hating, because I'm not. But there's a very popular artist, one of the most popular artists in the last 20 years. I listened to a recent album, and it was absolute garbage. And this artist dropped several albums at one time, and it was absolute dog shit because it sounded the same. The sound never matured. It's still the same subjects. Still sounds like somebody that's in their late teens, early 20s. When this artist is an older individual, he's a veteran in the game at this point. The music never matured. So if you're waiting for the mainstream, the quote unquote mainstream artist to give you that great album to bring the music back, that shit is not going to happen. It's the independent artist that's pushing the lines of artistry when it comes to rap and R&B. But I have to be honest with you, with the R&B space is even worse. It's even worse. Singers don't even really sing for real no more because they don't have to. Just keep it a buck with you. Most singers, they get into the studio and they need that air box. I know I forget stuff when I'm on live, but they need the auto-tune. They need it. They need it. If you hear them sing without the auto-tune, you'd be like, my goodness. My goodness. R. Kelly would never. Luther would never. So at the end of the day, this is what we have. This is what we have. But there's some great artists out there that can naturally sing. Shout out to R. Notes. He's been independent for a minute. The boy is one of the best singers, period. Period. We did a song some time ago, like 2014. And man, I'm like, yo, this dude is nice with it. We in the studio, he going crazy. And mind you, we had I sung with some other great dudes too, man. Some other great ones, man. And there's a lot of dope R&B artists out here. A lot. I won't say a lot, that's pushing it. But there's some great artists out here that are R&B, hip-hop, dudes that can rap. Just gotta find it. That's all. It's there. Just gotta find it. So I refuse to believe that it's dead. But all right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Browns receiver Jerry Jeudy has signaled in a live that he wants Deshaun Watson to be his quarterback one over Shedeur Sanders. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, when I seen the live, because they asked him in the live, like, yo, who do you want to be the starting quarterback? And he did this. He put up the 4, and if those who don't know, 4 is Deshaun Watson's number. But let's be real. The public wants to see Shador. Deshaun, at his best, was one of the best quarterbacks in the world. At his best, at one particular point in time. And the last time we seen him, the Cleveland Browns had a very capable team to go to the playoffs. The team that he was quarterbacking actually went to the playoffs. But he didn't quarterback that team. He ended up getting hurt. And when he played, that same team struggled. Insert Joe Flacco, that same team goes to the playoff. So he's not the same player that he once was when he was with the Houston Texans. Moving this thing forward, I said in a previous post, they're not in a real quarterback competition. No. Reason being is because finances is the end-all be-all. It's the end-all be-all. There's an old adage in football and in any sport, but especially football. If your senior, or excuse me, if your freshman is as good as your senior, you play the freshman because he's only going to get better. In this situation, Deshaun Watson is the senior because he's older, but he has a $40 million contract. Shador dropped to the 5th round in what is a $1 million contract. And mind you, if Shador plays well, this takes your franchise to a whole nother level. A whole nother level. He has young pieces around him that will buy into Shador, opposed to Deshaun Watson, who hasn't looked like himself ever since he got to Cleveland. He's been hurt on top of that. And what would be the benefit if Deshaun Watson does well this year? That benefits him, not the franchise. So the reason why it's not a real quarterback competition, they're basically saying, regardless of what Shador do, he's still getting $40 million as Deshaun Watson. He's still getting $40 million. So he has to get seen first. No, the hell he doesn't. No, he doesn't. You play who the rest of the team is going to be galvanized by. You play who's going to be inspired the most by the rest of the players, or who can inspire the rest of the players the most. That's who you play. Who's going to get the best play out of these players. And what we've seen so far, Shador has gotten the most out of the players that he's had around him. Mind you, he had the worst offensive line in the NFL, the second worst receiving core in the NFL. That's not feelings. That is a fact. You do your research. That's statistics. And he was able to go 3-4 with that group. 3-4. And yes, he had some mistakes like a rookie would. Would he clean that up? That would remain to be seen. He got some. Shador is not mistakeless. He has some cleaning up to do. But I think he's more than capable. He have enough talent to make those changes and to be a really good quarterback in the NFL. Whether he's going to be the best and all that other stuff, that remains to be seen. That's more development. But can he play? Yes. I said this all the time. It doesn't take long for a guy in the NBA or in the NFL if we could judge if they can play. He can play. But the difference is, if he plays well, now you can build your franchise and have something to look forward to. And now you have a $40 million contract that's basically going to anticipate at the end of the season that you could get completely off your books. He will be the most expensive backup you've ever seen, but you will have fulfilled your contract with giving him the money, because it doesn't benefit Shador if you let him play the first 6 games of the year just to see what he got. Because if he's killing the first 6 games and you keep Shador on the bench and y'all go to the playoffs again, how does it benefit your franchise? Are you going to re-sign Deshaun Watson after you done got the years that you done got out of Deshaun Watson? No, it doesn't make sense, because now you really take yourself out of contention if you really don't believe in Deshaun and you don't believe in Shador, now you take yourself out of contention by getting another quarterback in next year's draft. And me personally, I think they got their quarterback in the future in Shador, but we're talking about the Cleveland Browns. This is one of the worst ran franchises in sports history. Not just football history, in sports history. Like, let's keep this real. And in the past 2 years, they have made better football decisions that I've seen ever since the Cleveland Browns. I think they watched the movie Draft Day and was like, yo, we need to do that because what Kevin Costner was doing, yo, we could be doing in real life. But again, I don't believe this is a real quarterback competition because you have that mindset, $40 million. There's still $40 million guaranteed. He got to play. No, he doesn't. He can play if Shador gets hurt, if Shador is outperforming him. Let Shador earn it. And if he's outperforming him, then the contract shouldn't matter. That's why it's not a real quarterback competition. If the money is always going to matter, it's the best player play. He gets the most out of the guys around him. He's going to play. He's going to be the most expensive backup for the year. And guess what? After the year's over, contract done. How beautiful is that? You got another $40 million on cap or on your cap space that you could spread amongst the team or make the team better with improvement because you still got Shador for another 2 years after this year on that terrible 5th-round rookie contract. So it's simple mathematics, bro. If people are the same, you go with the younger version because there's a benefit for the younger version to play well. Now, if the younger player is terrible, he's not the guy that you thought he was, then you go to the veteran. The veteran has no choice but to play well. He has no choice. Because if the veteran don't play well at this point in time, he doesn't last in the NFL. He doesn't get another NFL job afterwards. So, to me, this shit is simple. So the fact that Jerry Jeudy is signaling that he wants Deshaun Watson to be the starting quarterback, that's also another red flag. That's also another red flag. Because now you have a receiver that's basic, and we already seen it. He pick and choose his effort. He doesn't go all out. He doesn't go all out. And you can't have players not buying in. Period. Now, mind you, Jerry Jeudy in college was electric. He was like, yo, you got to get this dude on your team. But now he done got paid. Players change when they get paid. And since we've seen him in Cleveland, especially with Shador Sanders, he picks and chooses his effort. He's not all the way sold in. So how can you have a receiver that's not sold in on your quarterback? We see how that works out. Look at A.J. Brown. You see how that worked out. He wasn't all the way bought in with the Eagles quarterback with Hurts. Now he's with a new team. So anytime your receiver, you're supposedly number one receiver, not all bought in to the quarterbacks or just he's bought into one quarterback. That's not good. And even with Jerry Jeudy, like if Deshaun starts, Jerry Jeudy will have to be an all-pro receiver if he's like, yo, I want him to be my quarterback. And I doubt that we see that because we did not see that last year. Whether it was Joe Flacco, whether it was the kid from Oregon, I'm forgetting his name right now, or even with Shador. Shador threw him some hella fire passes, and he fumbled. He gave up an interception on another play. Get him out of here. I don't even understand why he's still there. Should have traded him. You got 2 young receivers there already. Trade that guy for another piece. Because those 2 young studs that you got a receiver, those guys are going to be nice, and you got a nice-ass tight end. You don't even need Jerry Jeudy. So why do you have a guy on your team dictating leadership moves when he's not even going to be around? When he's not going to be around. So I just thought it was quite interesting seeing that all together. Shout out to the chat. Shador earned a Pro Bowl alternate nod as a rookie, while Watson has been dealing with Achilles surgeries. That's a fact. That's a fact. Like, again, I get it. I get it. He got the Pro Bowl nod. Yes, he did. Some players opted out. That got nothing to do with Shador. He accepted the Pro Bowl nod, and he's a Pro Bowler. So that means you have a player capable enough moving forward that can lead your franchise. And he was able to do this in 7 games. In 7 games. Not a full season, in 7 games. And in those 7 games, that was in the thrall of the season. They played some monsters, some good teams at that time. That was like, yo. So again, Cleveland Browns has known to be a shit show, pun intended. So we're gonna see moving forward. But y'all know where I stand on that. I've spoken about this a couple times. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. And this is the first time tuning and tapping in. Again, I'm Ashley Lovechild. Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast? We're on every Sunday, every Wednesday at 10:30. I appreciate y'all for tuning in and tapping in. Hit them likes, hit them 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. And again, I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get to find us some movie shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. All right, y'all. Next hot topic of the night. Cheyenne Bryant is back in the news again. She posted a video of her graduation cap and gown, and people been on her ass ever since the whole thing happened where she's not properly accredited or properly has her education intact, where it's traditional. People been on her ass, but it died down. It died down for a little while now. Now when she posts a picture in her office or place in her home, where her degrees in the background and she's putting on the cap and gown, and it became a shit show. Again, Cheyenne Bryant. So this video went viral, extremely viral. So now, if you don't know, Mark Lamont Hill, who have done things politically, also a guest, I would say like a guest host on a Joe Budden's podcast, or he's probably with the foundational crew at this particular point in time. He did some interviews, just to, like, let's clarify this thing and move forward with this. So he did an interview with the president and vice president of said college that Cheyenne Bryant has graduated from with her doctorate degree. Jaquil Pitts is the president and the vice president of said college, Indiana Southwest Christian University. I've never heard of the school. Based on my research, this is a new university. The reason why I put air quotations, even when I go to their website, is not a traditional educational website. It feels like a Gmail type of site, a website that was made, and it kind of felt like the movie Accepted. The movie Accepted, they had the website, one click guarantee you to, get into school. And all these people show up the next day at South Harmon, Ohio University. You know what I'm saying? And it feels very much so that, not to be joking and flippant about it, but it feels very much so. So Mark Lamont Hill did his interview, and one of the questions that he did pose was like, what type of degree did she acquire? And he made mention that she received a doctorate degree in theocentric psychology, which is very non-traditional, because when you think of the word centric, you think of eccentric, where is kind of like all over the place. And when you think of Theo, it kind of narrows it to one particular thing. Um, so it's theocentric psychology, um, which is a degree that's not traditional at other schools. Um, Now, also, this is a non-accredited school by what's the board of education. They're not accredited by the board of education. Where everybody else get accredited, right? I'm talking about your Michigans, your Michigan States, hell to not to use hell in a religious type of school, but even your smaller colleges are not accredited by the main accreditation office. They are accredited by a governing body that's more so faith-based or religious-based, which is not a full accreditation. This particular accreditation can take less than 3 months to receive your PhD. Traditionally, PhDs, it takes years to get a PhD. It's not a 3-month process. But he also said that this was a unique situation that he used basically past base experiences to basically get her across the finish line faster. Also, he made mention that she was the only graduate so far from the school that received a doctorate degree. Mind you, the kicker is if the degree takes less than 3 months to receive, the school didn't start until I believe May 18th or May 21st. So if the school started in May, as we're speaking right now, we're July 27th. How can the school start in May and a student receive their PhD in less than, I would say, 8 weeks? Less than 8 weeks? Or 8 weeks in itself, a PhD? And mind you, an honorary degree is not the same as a degree. People get honorary degrees because they do work in the community. They didn't necessarily have enough time to actually go get the education, but the school recognized them because they're famous. They're speaking on things in the community, and the school is good pub that the school gives this person an honorary degree. But with that honorary degree, you take that, and now you're moving in the sense as if you are a doctor. I've never heard Bill Cosby refer himself as the doctor. Maybe on the Bill Cosby show, but not in the real life. They don't address him as Dr. Cosby in real life because he's not a real doctor. So going back to this, Jaquil Pitts, again, Indiana Southwest Christian University, again, a school that came out mid-May. I find it quite interesting, especially with its timing, where you have a person that's being challenged on her education and her doctrine. Mind you, when you get a doctrine, there has to be some sort of thesis. There has to be some sort of, there has to be some sort of explanation in your thesis and in your final dissertation on you even receiving your doctrine. She hasn't presented that. And quite honestly, when you have one, you could just find it online. Like, it's for the world to see. It's a part of the process. It's like a player going to the NFL. It's a part of the process that he plays for a college team. There's a system that's in place, right? When you play in the NBA, there's a system that's in place. You either play college, G League, or you play overseas, right? But your progression has to be tracked. for you to get drafted. And for her to get her degree, all the traditional ways, it hasn't been available. So it's quite interesting when she was facing all this backlash back in April and May, that this school mysteriously is created and it's religious based. And to me, it feels like you created a school and said it's religious based because you could get a religious accreditation, but not the top tier accreditation, regardless of all schools. And when you look at the website, it's a Gmail away. Like the website you could contact on trying to get into the school at a Gmail. It's not even a real school. It's not even a real school email. It's a Gmail away. So I find it interesting with the timing and how they place us together to make sure that this lady is validated. Like, how far are we willing to go, and how much ego do people have not to say who they are and to show who they are? Especially if everybody on this level does this and you don't have it, then it's going to be suspicious. And this individual, again, Jaquil Pitts, I don't know many schools where the president is also the vice president. This really feels like she had enlisted this man to do this, or this is something that's been concocted on the back end just to make sure, or just to get her validated, just to push her through into the main space to call her a doctor, where the jury's already out. Unless she presents a dissertation and go through the traditional spaces to obtaining a doctorate degree, nobody's going to take her serious. And this is part of the reason why I believe she dropped the video with the cap and gown and had this man come out and say what he said on a couple different platforms. Y'all can look this up yourself. The school is called Indiana Southwest Christian University, and it just started this year, 2026, in mid-May. In mid-May. And the person who's the most famous from the school happens to be your only doctorate, period, of the school history. And it happens to be somebody that's in question of education or lack thereof. How far are people willing to go? Remember I spoke about earlier about anybody could be famous if they take a hot bowl of shit and eat that shit in front of everybody, but the hot bowl of shit is symbolizes everyday life. It depends on what hot bowl of shit are you willing to eat. Hints. Type shit. So she has to go through the traditional spaces to convince the people that she's trying to convince to sell books, and that's going to patron her. That's going to allow people, that's going to allow her to work or have her work with them to get the whatever that they need based on her expertise. If she doesn't go through the traditional ways, people are not going to take her serious. Period, point blank. Moving on to our next hot topic. Shout out to the chat. I missed a couple of comments in the chat. Shout out to the chat. Don't forget to hit them likes, hit them 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. Also, I got that one. Shout. Okay, I thought I got them. She really thought putting on the Amazon Prime robe and doing a TikTok would silence critics. Instead, she gave the internet a whole new set of receipts to investigate. That's a fact. That's a fact. I agree with that completely, Keysor. I agree with that completely. It was dying down. It was dying down. People don't realize the power of just shutting the hell up. If you have proof and you're going to go with the I don't got to prove nobody, I don't have to prove nothing to nobody, then why do this? Why? You have nothing to prove to nobody, right? But you do, especially when you are dependent on others to patron you for the betterment of how you live. When you're selling books, you need people to buy your books. In order to sell books, you already have to be in service in your field. You have to develop expertise in your field. Just because you acquire education does not make you an expert in said field. Now you need experience. Now after experience, now you can teach others based on said experience. So you do need the public to patron you. You do need the public to believe you. Hence the viral video of you getting the cap and gown and showing it off on social media. Because if you did not care, and if you don't need others to validate you, if this was said and true, you'd have put your cap and gown, took your own pictures, and kept it pushing. Because you have nothing to prove to nobody, but you do. Saying that is out of ego. So yeah, so shout out to Keyshaw, uh, Dr. Jaquel Pitts, saying he is both president and vice president of a school is absolute comedy gold. I've never heard of that either. I've never heard of a president and a vice president being the same person of any university or college. I've never heard of that. Never heard of that. This is a first for me. And as a person, would you let somebody operate on you physically, mentally, emotionally? And the reason why I break it down in those realms is because it could be any job, right? It could be accounting, it could be a doctor, it could be a lawyer, it could be all types of field, a firefighter. Are you going to let somebody work on you, be around you? They basically have your life in their hand, and the time that they have you, whether it's physically, emotionally, financially, if they're not properly accredited, if they haven't properly have not only the education, the education should be the bare minimum. Should be the bare minimum. But there's a level of experience that you have based on said education. So you can't get the experience without said education. So it goes hand in hand. So would you let somebody do that without the proper accreditation? Like people say there's a difference between John Hopkins doctors and doctors from the Bahamas, right? And I'm pretty sure there's outstanding doctors for the Bahamas, but people view it differently. Oh, you a doctor? You graduated from John Hopkins? Oh, so you serious? Oh, yo, you got it. And mind you, there's doctors from the Bahamas that's accredited, but can you imagine somebody being a doctor and they get their degree from a school that's not properly accredited? It's a religious based accreditation. You be like, what? Yeah, nah, don't touch me, please. Please don't touch me. I won't have nothing to do with you. You got my life in your hands. It gets like that. All right, so moving on to our next hot topic. Question. Oh, excuse me. No, I'm about to skip one. 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan has suffered significant injuries in a car accident. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan suffered significant injuries in a car accident during the July break. I think this is absolutely big, personally, because you have a great coach, and the 49ers is in a very important year. They have a young quarterback who I think is very solid in Brock Purdy. And if he's healthy, they need their coach. Kyle Shanahan has been one of the better offensive minds in the game for a little while now. And in that division, the Seahawks just won the championship or won the Super Bowl. The Rams looks unreal right now, especially if they bring back Aaron Donald. I don't think they have anything to worry about with Arizona. Arizona is a young team. They still got a lot of missing pieces, but they got some young players, but I don't think they do anything this year. And then you have the 49ers. Regardless on how good any of those teams do in the present year, the 49ers is always a problem in that division. Their leader, who happen to be their coach, will probably be gone for the first 3-4 games of the season. That's going to be a very hard adjustment for them moving forward. So this is a big blow for the franchise in itself. A very big blow. Because not only he's your head coach, but he's also your play caller. He sets the temperature in the room. And I think that's going to have a major impact on your team moving forward. And that's not good to start off an NFL season. Each game in the NFL, it matters. It matters. So I don't think this is going to be a positive season for the 49ers, in my opinion. And, it's unfortunate. Glad that, Kyle Shanahan is going to be okay. He also suffered a concussion as well. But I'm glad to hear overall that he's going to be okay. It's going to take time for his injuries to heal. He ended up with a broken hand, broken ribs, facial lacerations. So it was bad. It was definitely bad. Shout out to the chat. They said it in the chat as well. So he definitely went through a lot in this car accident. So I wish him a speedy recovery, but his team will suffer on the field moving forward in the very near future. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. Would you eat at a restaurant if you seen 2 mice running across the food area, meaning not the food area, meaning where you eat. So would you still eat at a restaurant if you had 2 mice running across the area where the people eat their food? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I already know the answer. This is a crazy question. The reason why I brought this up because there's a viral video of Gordon Ramsay's steakhouse in Vancouver, Richmond, where 2 mice was running across where people are eating at the table. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, I'm not a restaurant person at all. You won't catch me at no restaurants for real. You might catch me at the bar from time to time to watch a game, but restaurant, yeah, nah. But even at the bar, you ain't gonna see me order nothing but water. They hate to see me coming. I don't say hate to see me coming because I'm never there. Last time I was at a bar, I was there for the Knicks and Spurs game. Just wanted to have that energy around me, even though neither of my teams is there, right? But I wanted to have that finals energy around me. Went to a bar, ordered water. But the point that I'm making, if I seen 2 mice running around anywhere that I'm eating, I no longer feel comfortable eating at this place. Period. A restaurant? Yeah, nah. Y'all can't even control the mice from walking in the places where people were eating their food. Not walking, but running across where people were eating their food. Yeah, nah. That screams dirty to me. Nasty restaurant, terrible restaurant, procedure and keeping it clean and things of that nature. I'm not comfortable. The mice can fall into the food. I told somebody that works in the food industry and they didn't believe me. I said, yo, just do your research. If you have minimal mice hairs in certain areas of the restaurant, you are still able to get an A grade in that restaurant. You won't get shut down. If you have minimal mice hairs, and they look for the mice hairs, they look for the areas where mice can pass through and see if there's an exorbitant amount of hairs. Now, if it's very minimal, you will still pass. This is based on research. It's not based on Google. You will still pass. Now, obviously, if it's running rampant, they will shut you down in a heartbeat. But this person swear up and down, yeah, I've been working in the food industry for 20 years. I ain't never heard of nothing like that. Do your research. I'm not saying I don't believe you. I just don't believe your research. Okay, so I can't read now. I can't read now. Point that I'm making. Gordon Ramsay's restaurant has an A grade and can control mice running across where people eat their food. If it's me, I would not be comfortable eating my food there moving forward. I would not. And this video proof, the video went viral. And this goes for anywhere. They had a real famous spot in Brooklyn called Junior's. And at one point in time, they did a story on, I forget what network that it was, but they showed when Junior's is closed that the mice is able to get in Junior's and run through the cakes. They running through the cakes. So when that video hit the news, it stopped people from going to Junior's for a long time. A long time. I never went to Junior's ever again after that. Ever. Because that matters. When people eat food that they normally eat and wonder why they get sick all of a sudden, because a mouse done got in here, a rat done got in here, you just never know. So I wouldn't feel comfortable eating at a restaurant where mice just running through where people eating. That's just me personally. Shout out to y'all in the chat. What he said in the chat, reading that. I can literally hear old school Gordon yelling, "It's raw. The rat is so raw. It's running around the dining room." Yeah, yo, yo, bro, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. I wouldn't feel comfortable with that moving forward. Me personally, I would not. Could not eat there, would not eat there, and it would be a wrap for me. I wouldn't give them my business moving forward. It would take me a long time. They would have to do, they would have to do something so amazing to show me that this place is clean and this was just a one-time incident. Just gotta be honest. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. Expectations for the 76ers after LeBron James signed in free agency. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. What are the expectations for the 76ers after LeBron James signed in free agency to the Philadelphia 76ers? They was talking about it earlier in the chat, and I was saving it till now in the show. Don't forget that them likes hit the 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. Appreciate y'all for tuning and tapping in as always, y'all. Me personally, when I think about this, man, I said it before. I thought his best bet was with the Miami Heat. You got Giannis, you got Bam, you got Andrew Wiggins, who's still a nightmare defender. You got Donovan Mitchell, who's a nightmare defender for point guards. You can't leave a guy like Andrew Wiggins wide open to shoot, which he's going to get a lot of open shots. If you had LeBron James on the team, you have Giannis on the team, he's going to get all. You can't leave Andrew Wiggins wide open to catch and shoot. They got Tim Hardaway Jr. and Miami Heat does some of the best development with any franchise. They could take unknown players or guys from the second round, guys from the G League, and turn them into legit players. So I thought LeBron's best bet was with the Miami Heat. He's familiar. He's familiar with the lifestyle, the culture in Miami. And I believe that Miami embraces LeBron James in a way that the Lakers never did. And Cleveland definitely, it embraces LeBron James because he's from there. He's from Akron, Ohio. But Miami LeBron James, it just seems different. Like they really embrace him into that culture. But I'm not going to lie. I like the move to Philly. If we're just talking basketball. If we're just talking basketball, 42-year-old LeBron James at this point in his career, I think this was a great move for him because he's playing with a team that they need his experience. They don't need him to score 20 points a game. They don't need him to get 8 rebounds a game. They don't need him for that. They need somebody who's experienced, the grown man in the room, right? That understand the moment in the Eastern Conference. LeBron James have been extremely successful in the Eastern Conference, especially getting to the finals, navigating through the playoffs. So you got young guys like Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe that really go get it. They really go after it. You got LeBron James, who's basically going to play point power forward in that system, dishing it to those guys, getting his points when he could get his points. And then you have Jaylen Brown, which I said from the very beginning, if I was the Philadelphia 76ers, I'm just a fan of that young movement. I would have went to get a young small forward, then a three-point shooting power forward, and they basically did that. They got the best 3 that they can get in Jaylen Brown, who's a two-way player, who's in the prime of his career right now, who's looking to set the league absolutely on fire, who took an under-talented Boston team as far as he took them without JT for majority of the season. Play like an absolute madman. And you get that motivated version with these young gunners and Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. You have Joel Embiid, who I think, in my opinion, was the odd man out in that particular group because they no longer play through Joel Embiid because it's no longer his team. In the past 3-4 years, I'll say 3 years, it really transferred to Tyrese Maxey team because he's been hurt, he's been out, and it doesn't feel like Joel Embiid's team anymore. So I was saying, well, just trade him. He got value, trade him. But Philly was like, nah, hold my beer. We're going to keep Joel Embiid because he's still one of the best bigs in the league, even when he's hurt, which is true. And you bring in Dean Wade, stretch power forward. You bring in Anthony Simons, who also give you buckets off the bench, which Philly was missing last year. A guy who's a creator at all 3 levels in Anthony Simons. And now LeBron James, who brings that experience, who's still playing at a high level, who's still going to go out there and compete night in, night out, and you get that experience with that group. This is, to me, this is the conference finals right here. They put themselves in the upper echelon conversation when it comes to the East. Now, when you talk about legacy, do I like this for LeBron James' legacy? No, I don't. I think this absolutely takes him out the GOAT conversation. The GOAT conversation has been over, to be honest with you. It's been over. But if he goes and wins a championship, it doesn't change the GOAT conversation. It's over. It doesn't. It really doesn't. But you still have to give him credit for going to different teams and winning, regardless if he had the sauce or didn't have the sauce, whether he's the main player or he's not. Still got to give him credit. He's still one of the best to ever do it, especially if they win in Philly. Now, it's a 2-year, $8 million a year contract, which is, compared to LeBron James' contracts in the past, that's no money. This is obviously about winning. And with that group, they can win. With LeBron James signing there, they don't necessarily need Joel Embiid to win. But in my opinion, this is going to be the most healthy. We've seen Joel Embiid. Because in my opinion, based on how LeBron plays, he bridges the gap from VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown to Joel Embiid. So do I think this will work? Yes. When you look at the Knicks and you see how they built, Knicks want to have a time in their hands with this one. And the Knicks' superpower is the fact that they have depth at their big wings. Philly now has big wings. They didn't have that a year ago. So that's why they got their ass cracked in the playoffs. They didn't have big wings. You bring in Jaylen Brown and LeBron James. Dean Wade, Anthony Simons. And I believe they have LeBaron Philon coming off the bench too, if I'm not mistaken. And LeBaron Philon, he has a lot of Kyrie in him. A lot. And that's just coming off the bench. Kyrie's not a bench player, but y'all get what I'm saying, the type of skill set. So I believe their team is pretty deep. And when you think of the Eastern Conference, they sitting right at the top with the New York Knicks. You still have to give the New York Knicks the nod because they are the reigning NBA champions. And I know that's hard for me to say as a Brooklyn Net fan, but I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. They earned that championship. They won the championship. But this year, they still have a chance to repeat, but it's going to be very difficult. On paper, Philadelphia is a better team. On paper. On paper. They're a better team than the Knicks. And it's quite interesting how the power dynamics changed because LeBron James was actually open to going to the Knicks. His agent, Rich Paul, said, Jaylen Brown just got to pick up the phone. If Jaylen Brown pick up the phone and said, hey, I don't mind you play with the Knicks, bro, there would have been a good chance that LeBron would have been with the Knicks. So I don't know what happened with that, but one would lead me to believe that he didn't make the call. Cool. He go play with Philly. And now you got Jaylen Brown on that team. Jaylen Brown is the best player on their team as of right now. Period. Jaylen Brown is one of the top 10 players in the league. Tyrese Maxey, LeBron James. Joel Embiid, VJ Edgecombe. That's a damn good team. And you still got to worry about the Pacers. They getting back Halliburton, who's going to be healthy. And the Pacers look different with Halliburton, I just got to say. But the East is nuclear war. The East is so deep. The East is really 13 teams deep that actually could be in the play-in. 13 teams. A lot of people got Washington in the mix. I don't have Washington in the mix. People like, yeah, Washington going to be 6 or 7. No, they not. No, they not. They're going to be like 12, 13. At best, Washington might be at 11. At best. But you're going to comfortably say that Washington is a better team than Chicago? Comfortably? Yeah, you're not going to comfortably say that. And when you think about the Brooklyn Nets, we got a solid 5. It's our bench that's terrible. It's our bench. Sean Marks, he's I'm giving him a C+ on this offseason. We could do more. We could do more. You got the kid from Pistons, the big man from Pistons, sitting right there looking for that contract. Make the trade. Got Trey Murphy in New Orleans. Make the trade. We can make this team better. You got Jordan Watson. Sign him. Like, there's several moves that we could make because our bench is absolutely terrible. That's going to be the downfall of this year's team. But we're still rebuilding. But the point that I'm making, the East is that deep. So this move definitely puts them over the top, in my opinion. Shout out to Keesaw. He said Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Jaylen Brown, LeBron James, Joel Embiid. On paper, this is genuinely the most absurd starting 5 assembled since 2017 Warriors. President Mike Gansey, President Mike Gansey deserved an absolute masterclass award all season overhaul. Yeah, he did the same thing. He was speaking on a podcast that he didn't get a chance to speak to LeBron James, but the way he was speaking, it was like he was speaking to LeBron James through the podcast, which it absolutely makes sense. And then the city in itself is going to really get behind LeBron James. Up and down my timeline, ever since LeBron James signed with Philly, it's been nothing but Philly fans like, y'all, Yeah, so they are extremely excited. They're going to be behind LeBron James. And I like Philly for LeBron James based on the city. The city gets behind their players. And I think this is going to be, I can't wait for the season to start because what I'm looking forward to the season, about the season the most, the players in their new cities, it looked like those teams is going to play with a certain style of basketball that doesn't emulate the rest of the league. Meaning that for the past decade, we've seen teams all they do run to the 3 point line, shoot, run back. That's been the whole game. Nobody plays with a set of style that you're gonna watch this game and be like, I need to watch Indiana play because they press on the backcourt, they run trap, and they run a lot of pin downs. I need to watch the Warriors because they're gonna run and gun and shoot them threes. I need to watch the Pistons because even though they run and gun, they taking that to the Baja. They not trying to look for the three. They looking to throw it on you. They throwing alleys. So I'm liking that the players are going to new places, and it seems like they're going to play with a certain style that doesn't emulate another team. Everybody's going to have their own way of how they play, and that makes for exciting basketball because styles make fights. That's why people talk about 90s basketball so much, because styles made fights. Where you have the Houston Rockets. Remember Houston Rockets in the 90s with Akeem, and for some reason they would struggle with Seattle with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. They would struggle with Seattle. But Seattle would struggle with San Antonio. With Duncan, with David Robinson, with that crew, they would struggle with them no matter what. Even with Ginobili and oh my God, and the point guard. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? They would struggle with them. But San Antonio will struggle with Houston because styles make fights. Same thing with the NBA. The styles have to make the fight. So that's what I'm looking forward to most about the NBA this season. And if the trade goes through with Kawhi Leonard to Toronto, the Eastern Conference is going to get it's just crazy, because right now they're going through an investigation with the whole trading package of Kawhi Leonard to Toronto. So if he ends up with Toronto, that Eastern Conference is going to be scary. Now, because LeBron James have finally picked a team, the NBA can move forward, meaning NBA 2K could come out, the schedule could come out, but other players can now sign with other teams because, the big domino fell, right? So the Heat could also end up with a team where they have Bradley Beal, Westbrook, maybe even Klay Thompson on that Miami team, just because LeBron James opted out of Miami. Now, if they're able to do that, now if the trade doesn't go through with Kawhi Leonard, now Kawhi Leonard could end up with another team. So this NBA season, I'm looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward. I haven't been this excited about an NBA season in a long time. So I can't wait to see what this year have in store for this year. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment, our Keep the Lie Alive. So my Keep the Lie Alive for this episode is simply this. Take care of your finances. Take care of your money. Please. Just simply do that. Former NBA player Ty Lawson was arrested after allegedly stealing a $34 bottle of Tito's vodka. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. But me personally, as a former NBA player, mind you, he was a first round guy. Ty Lawson was very solid, very good player. If you do your research on Ty Lawson, very good player. He should not be in a position where his name is even mentioned and allegedly stealing $34 bottle of liquor from anywhere. His name shouldn't even be attached to this. So take care of your finances. If this is true, take care of your finances. If this is not true, it's not true. But why is his name attached to something like this? This is stupid. This is idiotic. This is not something you want to be attached to. Take care of your finances. I hate when athletes blame everybody else except for themselves. Take accountability and take care of your finances. It's just that simple. I was such a fan of Ty Lawson, and I'm still a fan of Ty Lawson, of him as a player, or when he was a player. He was great at North Carolina. He was a solid NBA player when he played. And for his name to be attached to something like this, it's just a bad look overall, especially if he did do this. So take care of your finances. Take care of your finances, because as you get older, nobody's going to care, especially when you're a dude. Nobody cares if you're down and out because you're a dude. Take care of your finances. And that's my Keep the Lie Alive for this episode. Shout out to Keyshaw. This is exactly why current players need to watch those mandatory rookie transition programs, financial classes closely. Ty Lawson made over $40 million in his NBA career, stealing $34 bottle of vodka is heartbreaking. Reality check on where that money went. Yeah, a lot of players, they don't do right while they're playing financially. They don't. And it doesn't take a whole lot of money to secure yourself. Period. It kills me when you hear a guy say $50 million, $20 million is not a lot of money. It is. It's life-changing money. You just wasn't financially responsible. You use money to make more money, or to secure more money. It's not made for spending. And when athletes do it, and they keep the same spending habits, then they run into a situation that they're not familiar with, or they're all too familiar with, and they don't know how to deal with it. You don't have to be broke after you make millions of dollars. Mind you, especially NBA players, they get per diem. Not only they get their contract, but they get something called per diem. They get like an extra $2,100 a week just for cash, for incidentals. Getting stuff out the vending machine, or soda, or juice, or whatever the case may be. That's per diem. So the fact that these players go broke, not in their 50s, not in their 60s, they're going broke 4 or 5 years later from their NBA career. These guys are in their mid to late 30s, early 40s, and they're broke. Yeah, nah, that doesn't sit well, especially when you'd have made millions of dollars. It just simply means that you did not practice good financial health, good financial practices while you was playing. Period. Got to take accountability, and you have to move forward. But you played in the NBA. You have the ultimate experience. You should be able to get a coaching job. You should be able to get an analyst job. You should be able to get a scouting job. It's just, you're too valuable for playing in the league and to walk away. And because you don't make that same type of money, that doesn't mean you can't make a living. Like that. That to me, that's just an idiotic statement for people to make. I said it last week on last week's show when Big Baby David said, yeah, after playing in the NBA, and once you go broke, you can't get a 9-to-5 job. Yo, you played in the NBA. You got expertise at playing basketball. You could coach anywhere, scout anywhere. What is you talking about? Because that's expertise. So when players say this is idiotic. And then even Jordan Seaton, we talked about him last week. The video went viral of him and his girlfriend having $50,000 Birkin bags, or I forget whatever bag that they had in the video, and they had Young Miami playing in the back. And it's like, this is how it starts. And if I'm that man's father, because he's young enough to be my son, I got a daughter older than him, I would tell him, yo, that's not the move. That's not the move. And then he actually came out and said, yo, just because y'all see something, that doesn't mean that is what it is. What you think people gonna think when you make a certain amount of money in NIL deal, y'all modeling Birkin bags or whatever the case may be, and you put yourself in a situation where you allow it to run rampant. You allow it to run rampant. We didn't put that video out, you did. You allowed it to go out. So you have to deal with the backlash. Anytime you put something on social media, there's always going to be backlash. You can't blame people for responding. And if people are responding, like at the base of that, people care. Like, yo, that's not the move to make, young man. You making good money, save your money. Use your money to make more money and secure your future. It's not meant for you to look like a jackass by making a video with your girl modeling or showing off Birkin bags or whatever the bags that they had. Use the left part of your brain. And I say this as a father. So athletes, do better, y'all. Do better. Do better. Not just in your spending habits, but having people around you that care. Having people around you that really care. If you got people around you that only tell you something that you want to hear, yo, you need to get rid of them, for real. For real. So that's my episode for the night. And it all comes from a place of love. Seriously, it really do. So shout out to y'all. And I thank y'all for tuning and tapping in, man. I appreciate y'all. This is episode 278. And it grows each and every episode. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 14. So continue to like, subscribe, share, hit that all notification bell. It does help with the growth of the show. We're on every Wednesday, every Sunday at 10:30. And again, I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all also take advantage of those memberships. Also, there's links in the bio. Make sure y'all tap into that merchandise as well. Again, I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. I also want to thank OUV Records. Make sure, again, you go to Instagram at OUV Records and stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. Shout out to the chat. Chat always showing major love each and every episode. Just a loyal bunch, man. I appreciate y'all each and every episode. The show grows because of y'all. And again, we drop videos daily and continue to engage. We've been seeing those engagements go up. I do jump in the chat, especially if you are talking about logic. Even if you disagree with me, as long as it's based out of logic, I still mess with you as always, man. And again, I'm going to see y'all this Wednesday. Wednesday going to be here before you know it. Every time we do a Sunday episode, Wednesday literally comes like basically the next day for me. It literally comes by that fast. So I'm going to see y'all in no time. And remember, y'all, do not be an agent of chaos. Don't be a stain. A stain is somebody that try to stand out by being negative. Have the ability to stand out by being positive. Lose that Willie Lynch mindset. Lose that it can only be one mindset. The only op we recognize over here is opportunity. We celebrate life culture. Hate has a location. It's just not here. And y'all know I got nothing but love for y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. And again, I'm going to see y'all this Wednesday at 10:30. And if you want to tap into me, pause, outside of the show, type in Ashley Lovechild. All my social media will pop up. I'm on Instagram at Ashley Lovechild and all my other social media. So again, salute. And ain't nothing but love. And I'm going to see y'all soon. I'm out.